okay, let's face it, James Gunn needs therapy. Now, I do too for enjoying this as much as I do, but he's the one who came up with this crazy shit, so he needs it more. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. A Peacemaker series. Really, who wanted this? I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard about this series, I was not interested at all. After seeing the Suicide Squad, the Peacemaker was the one character that I absolutely cared nothing about. Out of all the characters that were in that movie, and there are a lot, he was the one that had the least amount of layers or the least amount of meat on the bones for me to want to even find out more about him. And truthfully, he wound up actually being the primary villain of that movie. And so to give him a show to sort of make him the hero or arc that we're following is a hard road to go by. So I kept asking why would I want to spend this time in the series with him. So when I saw those first couple of trailers, I was not interested. The trailers didn't do anything for me. That's because a lot of what this show does is much too vulgar to put in a trailer. So the trailer is kind of doing the soft end version of what it is the show is actually doing. So when you get the actual thing that James Gunn is in its true form, what he wants you to see, gotta say this show's that's a lot of damn fun. Depending on how much you have an attachment to Rick Flag will determine how quickly you are to sort of forgive and forget Peacemaker of his past deeds. And I think that's the biggest hurdle this show sort of has to get over. What works is that John Cena as a person, as a human, as an actor, is very charismatic. And so it becomes pretty evident pretty quickly that it is easy to follow him and become endeared to him. This big, goofy, aloof, muscle-bound man who has also been sort of molded and trained to believe that he wasn't the best, to have some pretty racist and misogynistic beliefs. Like he is sort of a victim of his father. That's why Robert Patrick is here to sort of show you what he is and sort of put a lot of the onus and a lot of the blame on him and show that there is a good person in there amidst all of the ignorant things that he does and says. And in that weird way, he sort of becomes this oddball guy, sort of becomes endearing as these first three episodes go along. This show is not going to be for everybody. It is the right kind of fucked up for me. I'm not gonna lie. It exists in this weird, like, adult live action Saturday morning cartoon, which is kind of becomes sort of a cross between The Tick and The Boys. You get this quick-witted banter. It's vulgar and it's violent, and you have like The Tick, this lovable, dim-witted hero who just doesn't understand the world that is around him. Whereas Tick is just aloof. This guy has been brainwashed to kind of be one way, and he's programmed to kill. And now he's sort of, in this series, seems to be at an odds based on what he's done in Suicide Squad and sort of what he's tasked to do in these first few episodes. He is sort of at an odds with what it is that makes him who he is. And it seems like this series is, while it's all that vulgarity and stuff is there is the heartbeat of him kind of coming to grips with who he is now, that he's sort of been given a second chance, if you will. All the normal James Gunn tropes are here. The banter, the violence outside of the Guardian stuff. He's a lot of very violent and horror-minded directing tropes and styles. And of course, the needle drops from every rock group that you can possibly think of. I'm at the point now where I would not be surprised, and I don't know, there's some writers who do this, I would not be surprised if James Gunn selects and curates his musical playlist before he puts pen to pad as to whatever he's writing, because a lot of these songs cue up perfectly and are so ingrained in the DNA of whatever he does, but once again, this show. I am really starting to sort of dig this pocket, in these pockets that the DC universe is sort of starting to find, where everything kind of does its own thing, can exist in its world. You got Black Adam doing its own thing, you got a Batgirl TV series, you got The Flash sort of saying, hey, all of this stuff can sort of exist. And you get this weird world where you can have an adult live action Saturday morning cartoon, sort of like you have Harley Quinn being that live action, actual animated adult cartoon. We exist in this world where they get to sort of play and kind of do their own thing and find their own voice, as opposed to sort of what Marvel is doing, where everything is kind of been connected, and they don't and can't, quite frankly, play with some of the more adult themes or super vulgar themes that some of their characters might have. It's going to be interesting to see how they actually pull off Deadpool or try to attempt to do Deadpool and Moon Knight when we finally get that trailer this weekend, because those are some shows that lend itself to being a little bit more grittier and a little bit more darker. But DC is clearly having a ball to the way they can kind of like let the reins go and like, here, you are in control of this property. Have a way at it. Do your own thing with it. And that's sort of refreshing to kind of have both. Neither of them is better than the other. I love Marvel, as you can, I mean, you can see over there. I'm a Marvel fan too. This is just good for everybody. That kind of not both of them aren't trying to mimic the exact same thing. I think that's sort of where DC got in trouble with before, is that they were trying to catch up and speed up and be like DCU were, instead of sort of creating their own lane, which they're doing now. So for somebody who did not care about this show or want to see it at all, I've now come full circle. This show's got me. I'm now, damn it, fully invested. I got another show that I'm going to be talking about here on the channel, because I do look forward to the rest of the series and seeing where the story is sort of going, where it's taking place. I think if this all sounds like a style of a show that you are interested in seeing, I think you'll definitely want to check this out. If you like stuff like Deadpool or Tick or the Boy, something that is hyper violent, vulgar, but also still has a really solid, fun storyline going through with it, and some pretty cool action sequences as well. Like the action is good here. I think this will be for you too. So I for sure will be continuing on with this week to week, and then from this point on, we will be in spoiler territory with this show in the future. But those are my thoughts. What did you guys think about the first 3 episodes of Peacemaker? Go ahead and leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. If you haven't already, go ahead and follow us on Twitter at HollywoodADI. You can hit us up on email at HollywoodAlreadyDidIt@gmail.com. We also have a podcast with the same name. It's on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that plays podcasts, and here on YouTube as well. And like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.